I'm psychologist Dr. Paris Monroe, and thank you very much for coming in this morning and being with me and spending some time. Let me answer some questions that I've been asked over the years, I suppose, that might serve to be a good introduction to who I am and what I do. One of the questions that people ask is, what services do I provide? Well, mainly counseling and giving advice. I listen to people's problems, and I try to get as many details in as I possibly can on what the issues is, what the trouble is, what the problem is that the people are facing, and so I can get a grasp of exactly what it is that is bothering the person, so I can understand better what I can do to try to help the person. So my biggest thing by far is listening, giving advice, counseling. I also end up having to do much paperwork, administrative type work for the people as far as filling out insurance forms, submitting the test results, writing letters, that sort of thing. So I do keep quite busy over here. I try to see a good 10 clients a day, as many as 12, as many as 14 a day sometimes. And so we do manage to keep pretty busy over here. And we see a wide range of problems and issues. Do I do psych testing? Psychological testing? I don't do very much psychological testing. I just don't believe in it. There's the standard IQ test. I get asked that so rarely. I doubt if I get asked to do IQ testing even once a year. Probably at best once every 3 years, and that's fine with me. I don't have the test equipment to test. I'm not interested in testing. I'm just really not. As far as IQ testing, I'm really not too interested. A lot of parents want to bring their kids in for some sort of IQ testing. The schools provide that. The schools provide that, so, and I'm not going to compete against that. Let the schools do all the IQ testing for the kids as much as they want. That's fine and dandy. Whatever they come up with, let them come up with. They have, typically, I believe the school has some sort of agenda that they're following. They're trying to get the kid in some sort of IEP program, whatever. I'm not too interested in pursuing that because the schools provide lots of IQ testing. ADD, ADHD testing. I get plenty of parents bringing in their kids here for ADD, ADHD problems. They want them tested. The testing is very fast, short, quick, easy. I also don't believe in it because it's a totally subjective test. I can put a child out here and give the test to 3 different adults who spent some time with the kid, and I'm going to get all sorts of different answers. I get one teacher that says little Johnny is way, on a scale of 1 to 10, is a 9 ADD. The next teacher says he's only a 7 or a 6. Mom and Dad said he's only a 2 or 3. What am I supposed to do with that? So I don't do a lot of ADD, ADHD type testing. I don't do a lot of MMPI test. I do provide the MMPI test. I don't like the test. It's a very old test. The wording is not up to date. It's not up to speed. People are confused as to what is this test asking me, because the test is written in the 50s, for Pete's sake, 70 years ago, 60, 70 years ago. But the wording is all the same, and everyone's afraid to change the wording, so therefore we stick with the same wording that was written in the 50s, and that wording is not applicable to today, and so I don't believe in the test results that the MMPI gives. Do I administer it? Sure I do. Do I get scores from it? Sure I do. Do I make an assessment off it? Sure. Am I pleased and happy with that? No, but I get plenty of people that ask for it, so I do administer it. And so you can take what you want out of that sort of thing. I think by far the best psych testing is from a psychologist who interviews the client, spends at least 1 hour, possibly 2, possibly 3 hours with that client on 3 different occasions, and comes up with an assessment of what they see as the problem for that client, or what the psychological diagnosis would be for that client. I am not highly concerned with giving diagnoses. The only reason I give a diagnosis is because I have to turn in something to the insurance company, but you can darn well bet almost all my diagnoses are some sort of depression or anxiety. Schizophrenia, I do admit does exist, but it's few and far between, and many people are given a schizophrenic diagnosis, and they're not schizophrenic at all. Bipolar, everyone wants to be called bipolar these days. It's so cutesy, it's so vogue, it's so hip, it's so trendy to be called bipolar. So everyone wants to be bipolar so that they can, you know, get special handling. They're special people. They got bipolar, and you got to handle them just right. And I know everyone wants to be bipolar, and the reason that they're bipolar is because mom and dad were bipolar, and of course it got inherited down, handed down by the genes. That's such baloney. That's such baloney. But people want to insist on that, and I'm not going to argue the case. They want to call themselves bipolar and say they got it from mom or dad or something like that because their brother is too, and their cousin is a bipolar. Fine, fine. But that's the ridiculousness of some of these people. And I let them go. I'm not going to sit there and get in a fist fight over them, whether they're bipolar or not. They're not. What is pretty much the number one issue you prefer working with? Oh, geez, that's a tough one. I like working with women, females. I feel very sorry for women, females. I think that they are so mistreated out there. The males. The men out there, husbands, boyfriends, males, do such a poor job in so many instances and stuff. They're not taking care of their women at all. They're not seeing how much their women need love, need help. And these guys are just total selfish boobs. They just want it all for themselves. They're only focused on their own joys, happiness, interests, wants, urges, desires, and they just treat their women terribly. So I like helping women. I wish I had a stockpile of good men to hand out, because boy, there's a bunch of good gals out there that could use a good man, and there's just no good men out there. All these men are into pounding their chest and trying to be all macho and tough and hard, and they gotta all have some sort of bike or gun or car or truck or something that shows them to be a big man, and their women they treat with such little regard. It's just so sad. It's so sad. So I like working with women. One of the things that I work with so much is PTSD, typically combat veteran PTSD from the wars. Lots of Marines, Army guys, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, everything in the military. We've had lots of wars going on for the last 13, 14 years now in this country, and of course before that we had the Gulf War, 1991, we had Vietnam before that, and we had a splattering of little combat actions in between. So I see many veterans of combat, and so I end up working with these guys quite a bit. I like working with them, but it's incredible what it is that I see with these guys. You know, these guys are, you know, you have the image of a combat veteran, some sort of John Wayne dude that goes out there and just busts up the enemy big time to the max. All sorts of brave, bold, brawny, all that sort of stuff. That it is not what you see at all. These men come back and they are some hurting people, hurting fellers. They are sad, broken, a shell of a man. Combat really changed them. These guys are not bold, brave, victorious, proud of what they went through and all that they have gained and all that they have done. They are hurting people, very socially withdrawn, not fun at all, flattened effect, withdrawn, no social interactions, probably been divorced 3-4 times, not talking to the kids at all if they have kids, having a very tough time at work. These guys are in bad shape. They need lots of help. And they come in here, and I work with them as best I can, but I find that I get very little help from them in helping them get over their problems. What do I see as the main problem that I have to fight against? I like that question. Very good question. The main problem I have to fight against is the resistance of the people themselves. I am astounded how many people want to come in here and supposedly get well. However, when I try to work with them and get a handle on their problem and discuss their problem with them, I can see the resistances coming up, defenses, resistances, walls coming up all around to protect exactly them. Well, the more you protect yourself and try to keep yourself the way that you are, then obviously you're not going to change and get well. The only obviously the way that you are is the reason that you are having the trouble that you are having. The only way that you're going to get well is to change, to humble thyself, put down thy pride, and to listen and try to understand and see the logic and rationale in the counsel and advice that you're receiving, and then change accordingly. Try to adapt those new thoughts, ideas, and concepts. The more you change into this new, stronger, more victorious, overcoming, proud individual that is actually quite pleased with all that they have went through in life because of all that they have gained from it, all that they have learned from it, that they would never have learned any other way. Once they fully grasp that and absorb that, then they will be well. They have to change their perspective, and there is such a resistance to change your perspective. What is a start? A very sad, heartfelt story that I can think of. Oh man, it's some gal and the poor treatment she's getting from her man or from men or something. I get so many women in military combat women. Maybe they weren't combat, but they were military, and the horrible sexual assaults that they have to endure from the men, from officers and senior enlisted men on that base, is just incredible. The rapes that they suffer, the sexual harassments that they suffer from these predators on base, and then the predators on base and how much protection they get from each other. It's a good boy society, good old boy society to the max, and these women, as one gal said, we were just bait. All we were was bait. And as soon as they hit the base, their new duty assignment, the men were just on them like syrup on pancakes. And it was just sexual harassment, rapes, fondling, molestations, belittlements. Unbelievable. I hear so many cases like that. I am so ashamed of our men in uniform. I suppose that there's got to be some good guys out there in uniform, but boy, is there a bunch that are not. And there is so much protection for the ones that do the sexual predating. It's just astounding. Some of the saddest stories. All my sad stories about women and the treatment they get from their men, whether it's military treatment, the military people, and the poor treatment they get from their fellow comrades, or these poor gals, these poor wives or girlfriends, and the lousy husband or boyfriend that they have in their life. It's so sad. I wish I could wave a magic wand and fix it and make all their pain go away. Unfortunately, I cannot. But anyway, that's all the questions I want to answer today. There are many more questions. We'll continue this on another time. Thank you so much.